In this edition of Shareable Science Beyond the Blog, we're going to talk about treatments, what currently is available, what is now in clinical trial, and what's just over the horizon. So let's take a few minutes and talk about therapy. Welcome to Shareable Science. Science you can share. If you're like me, you're seeing a lot of information about potential treatments and therapies for COVID-19. I thought we would, in this session of Shareable Science, take a deeper look at broad categories of therapies. I'm just going to gently set the table for each of these, and then in a follow-on session, we'll dig into each one of these separately to go deeper. Let's start by reminding ourselves of the general course of the COVID disease. It starts as an upper respiratory disorder. That's when it is at its most contagious, when the virus is actively present and multiplying in the upper respiratory system. For the majority of individuals, that is where the disease ultimately resolves. It goes no further. And in some people, they don't even know that they have the disease. They have such a mild case. But there are a handful of individuals where the virus actually progresses into the lower respiratory system. It settles in the lungs. These are individuals that have shortness of breath, have cases of pneumonia. And a number of those individuals, the disease progresses no further, and they're treated and then they're released. But there's a subset of this group that then progress to the most critical stage, which is where the immune system hyper responds. It overcorrects for the presence of the virus. And it actually leads to respiratory failure, massive inflammation, and organ shutdown. So as we think about treatment, where we currently stand, right now all of our treatment is symptom-based. So we are only responding to the symptoms as they arise. Maybe we're giving fever-reducing medicine if that's appropriate. Maybe we're putting an individual on oxygen or on a ventilator. But we don't have a way to slow the spread or prevent the spread of the virus. We're just responding to symptoms. The goal of these three categories are to either slow and minimize the impact of the virus or actually prevent the immune response, prevent the infection from happening at all. There's a lot of discussion right now about new and repurposed drugs. You might also hear these called small molecules, looking at medications that we either already have existing in the system that can be repurposed or that haven't yet gone through clinical trials. A recent paper that I saw identified almost 70 of these potential small molecules. The World Health Organization has identified 4 of them. I've got them here on the board. My drug pronunciation is absolutely dreadful, so I am not going to even try to do that, except just to note that there are now clinical trials that are being started or have already begun with all 4 of these. And again, we'll explore that more in a future episode. Neutralizing antibodies takes a slightly different response. Instead of giving you a medication, I'm actually going to give you some serum, plasma, from the blood of a patient who's already recovered from COVID-19. That might sound a little bit bizarre, but it's actually something that goes back decades that we used as a treatment before we even had vaccines. And it's the idea that people that have recovered from COVID-19 already have virus-fighting antibodies in their blood. And if we can take that serum and give it to somebody who's currently just starting the infection, we are giving their immune system a jump start. We're moving them further ahead, and we are increasing the likelihood that the disease stays here and doesn't move over into these other more severe levels. We also may be looking at if we can identify those virus-fighting antibodies, can we manufacture them in the lab? So I am giving them to you not from somebody else's serum, but straight from a lab. Clinical trials started on these the 24th of March in New York. And then the third piece, vaccines, this is not a therapy. This is a way to try to prevent someone from even having an infection. And the idea behind it is this: if I give you some part of the virus or some piece that would normally be found on the outside of the virus, your immune system will say, I don't recognize this. This isn't mine. and begin the process of generating an immune response. Now, it's not a strong immune response. I'm giving you just a little bit, but I'm giving you just enough for your immune system to go, okay, I'm on guard against this now. So that if you are infected with the virus that causes COVID-19, your body's already alert and on the watch and can start responding much more quickly. The challenge with vaccines is that they take 12 to 18 months to develop and to move through clinical trials, even on the fastest safety track. 2 potential vaccines are already in clinical trial. A third one will probably start at the beginning of April. And there are 40 other potential vaccine options that are still in preclinical trials. So they're still moving through studies in cell lines or in animals before they move to human-based clinical trials. So that's a nutshell of treatment. I know that's a lot of content. We covered a lot of scientific ground. You guys are all getting a primer in how the immune system works as you watch these videos. As I said, we'll explore each of these in more detail later on. So our goal behind Shareable Science, behind the blog, is to provide information that you, your family, and your friends find useful. If you think that this has value, please share it, send it to other people. Thank you for watching. Thank you for sticking with me as we talk through all this content. I look forward to seeing you again. Stay safe, everybody.